I feel like my lips are like, every time I'm just like...
Yeah, it feels like you can hear it. Yeah. And welcome back to FireCast, baby, with my co-host DZ.
What's cracking?
And this is cool, man. We've got our first female guest, Sally. How's it going?
Good, man. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, anytime, man. We were literally talking about having a girl, our first female, last week, weren't we?
Yeah, last episode.
So, yeah, it's good to finally have some female wisdom on here because I feel like we've been having a bit of a sausage fest here on FireCast.
Yeah.
So, first things first, DZ, you want to pass her the board?
We're going to do it first?
Yeah.
We'll do it at the start.
We'll get it out the way at the start.
All right.
Do like a little signature, just...
I feel privileged.
Your best celebrity signature.
Trip Jacket Mafia. This
Wherever
is a
you want.
cool canvas, man.
Thank you.
I'm going to go like...
Painted by myself. Mostly my missus, but I helped.
I don't really have a cool signature like
Yeah, I didn't have one either. Dylan just kind of threw it on me. I just had to sort of like make it up as I went.
Yeah, that looks fucking cool.
I ended up with like a SWZ. I don't know where the Z came from, but we're here now.
It looks like the Stussy logo.
Perfect.
I'm just copying you, DZ.
Perfect.
All right, well, we got our first signature added to the board.
Yes. And it's a woman too. That's awesome, man. That is awesome. Okay, so Sally, we've been friends for a long time, since we were kids.
15, man.
Yeah, since our raving days, we were just running amok. But now, as we've gotten older, you're probably one of the most spiritual people that I know. But that doesn't just... No one's born spiritual, right? Let's be honest. It's a path that a human finds and discovers as they go through life, and you start making choices. Okay, I want to start trying this out, or meditating, or you buy some crystals. And I've been into that shit. Me and Chloe have been buying crystals and stuff like that. I want to get into meditating. But so around when did you sort of become spiritual, and what sort of helped you dive down that path?
It's interesting to hear you say like that you consider me a spiritual person. I always kind of think, I don't know, like I guess I consider myself a spiritual person, but I don't like act in spiritual ways or post spiritual things really. But
It's like, it doesn't have to be like a, like you got to dress like a hippie.
It's an aura.
It's just an aura, like a vibe.
It's a natural thing.
It's a natural thing you give off.
Yeah.
But do you guys agree? No one's born like you're not a baby when you go, oh, this baby's spiritual.
I get what you're saying, but some people definitely are more in tune than others to these types of things.
Yeah?
Rose grew up, like some people are just more intuitive and more in tune. Their psychic abilities are more in tune. They're more in touch with things than others. And so you might not know that you are, but you definitely have a little more than others. But I get what you're saying, that you don't practice from birth. You don't just wake up and like start doing, meditations and shit.
But I like that. I like the idea of not having to be this full hippie or dressing in a certain way to be spiritual, because it's not about that. It's about kind of like how you act in towards life, how you react. Are you going to react in like anger or frustration or things like that? Like spiritual is kind of a way of being like more of a perspective of 100%. Accepting everyone and all that kind of shit. But in terms of where like that began, it's really interesting, and I don't want to say it started from drugs, but it kind of did in a way of that. When I started at maybe 15, 16, kind of dabbling in a couple of little drugs and stuff like that, I never really found it as more of a party thing for me. I found that I really liked the introspection, and I just liked kind of looking at the world differently, seeing things move differently. And then I started learning how to get there just from meditation, and found a way of so it was a practice of meditation, and I went along that journey with my mum. Like, she was super spiritual, and she was super intuitive and all that kind of stuff. She took classes in metaphysics and personal development, spiritual development. So I was hearing her things, and I guess I was just kind of reacted on that because that's what I was learning through her. But through meditation, I got to the different kind of realms and dimensions of places in which I would consider that kind of gave me a greater perspective on life. Like, it's not just here. It's not just, what we're doing and who we are. There's things that are bigger than that. But it definitely started in the introspection of what like smoking weed gave me and some other things like that.
I never thought of it like that, because let's be honest, right? Drugs they unlock things in your brain that aren't unlocked when you're sober. I mean, that's why there's another conspiracy theory on why people think drugs are still illegal, because the government don't want people seeing things in different ways and sort of becoming more awake with themselves. And yet, I'm not saying drugs are fucking good, but there are people, like in America, people are microdosing shrooms. Weed is legal in most states, and people are chuffing up on the street. I've been there. I mean, I've been to LA. The whole place smells like pot.
Yeah, but it definitely depends. It takes a type of person to kind of, you know what I mean? A lot of people are just deadbeats, you know, who do 100%. Drugs and don't have that introspection. They don't know why they're necessarily doing anything. They just fucking do things. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
I think part of the key is taking what you can learn. Like if I just kind of did mushrooms the other day, but I was writing throughout the whole thing because I'm learning things as I'm in this different state. But I take it as a learning experience. But as you said, DZ, like, it's who it's in the hands of and what you take from it. But I think it's the practice that you do without them that kind of creates more of a integrated, like, you are, especially through meditation or just through like daily habits. You know, if I double think something when I've been on, like, smoked weed or been on mushies or something like that, I'll write it down and I'll be like, maybe I felt like this about how I talked or how someone said this or whatever. And then the next day, if I'm reading it, I kind of like look whether I agree with it. And I don't know if that sounds really silly, but I'm always introspecting. Like, I question what I've questioned when I'm doing that stuff. So it's what you also do without it that kind of describes more of a greater perspective.
Okay, that's interesting. So you, while you're on mushrooms or something, you'll write things down, and then when you sober up, you look at it and you question what you wrote down and you kind of reflect on it.
Yeah, I have notes upon notes upon notes. I told Iggy the other day, like, I've written in a journal pretty much every night, if not every second or third night since I was 14. Maybe even younger, actually. My first diary, I was like 12 and I was just writing like, Mum won't let me have a birthday. Like, you know, I'm going to go to Dad. Dad said I can. It was just like all that shit. And then, I watched kind of as things developed throughout my journals. I have 15 plus journals now that are just filled to the peak, and there's some dark ones where I got too lost in a bit of a drug scene, you know what I mean? And they're really, really dark. But then the next one is when I learnt how to kind of, you know, I guess take what I've learnt over the couple of years and turn it into something a bit more positive. A
learning experience.
Yeah, so I really like writing during anything. I write during the day. Like, I need to get myself a little notebook just for the day, because I feel like when you put your mind and it goes through your body to your hand to paper, and you're turning something that you think of into something, you know, in the physical, it's like gets way more into your head of like, this is what I want to believe, or this is how I think, and do I want to think like that, or do I want to, you know, it's like writing a to-do list. Everyone says, oh, write your to-do list, put your priorities, do your thing, make sure it's there on paper. But like, I do that with as much as I can, because otherwise there's just millions and millions of thoughts going through your head every single day.
Escape, and you never get a hold of them. They're gone if you don't write them down. I've been writing in a journal every day too for like the past 2 years almost every day. I haven't missed a single day. I've not. Every morning I wake up, that's the first thing I do. If I start work at 7, I wake up at 5:55 and I'll write my book first thing. Like, I'm grateful for today. I feel good. Today is a good day. You write what you want.
Hell yeah.
And I suggest you do that too, man.
Oh yeah, man. Like behind my door, me and Chloe have a whiteboard. Affirmations. Yeah. Today we feel good because, you know,
gratitude.
Little things, man. And it sounds silly to other people, but just something like, okay, today we own our first puppy, Dougie. We love him like a child. You know what I mean? Today we're going to reach our money goals. Today we're going to, like, you know what I mean? And these things, and it's been scientifically proven that when you write shit down, it goes into your brain like better and quicker than just trying to remember shit and do shit on the fly. Like, all successful people write shit down. They read. And spirituality, like people that are spiritual, I'm pretty sure all of us write. We write, and it all starts from things that we're feeling within and emotions within, and we try to channel it through just different ways to other people. You know what I mean? So, Sally, the meditation, is this a every night thing? Is this a once a week thing? Is it sort of, I'm feeling like shit today, I've got to meditate? Or how does that work?
So it was a practice that I would have been really, really hardcore into when I was about 16. I was doing it every night. I did guided meditations, and I got to the point where I could astral project, and I have these.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. I've been to some pretty cool places.
Okay, hold on. Let's explain that quickly to people who don't.
Astral projection is basically where you can, like, you're in a dream state, but you're in control. So
sort of like lucid dreaming.
Lucid dreaming, yeah, that's what astral projection is. And you can decide sort of where to go. So I've been in this meditation where, like, I've just blasted off into outer space, but I was there. I have the memory of it, like it's a full memory of my life.
I want to do that shit so bad, man.
Yeah,
I've been trying.
I was like, I'm going to go to the Amazon rainforest, and I just went there and like hung out, and there was like tigers and shit. It was really cool. But yeah, I've fallen out of that practice, unfortunately, it's a really. And this is when people, they try to meditate once or twice and they go, I just think too much and whatever. Like, it's a hardcore practice.
Yeah, it's a skill you got to develop, man.
Yeah, and it's so classic to say, like, it's like going to the gym. You can't, not go to the gym your whole life and then go and expect to, like, bench press, like, 120 kilos, you know what I mean? It's just not going to happen.
Exactly.
So it's that practice, it's constant. And as, things sort of happened in my life the past 2-3 years, it just kind of fell off. And now when I do it, I still can click in a lot easier than probably most into a space of, like, not thinking about everything that's going on in my life. But it's really hard for me to get to those, like, exterior sort of lands. But I still do it when I need to. Like, I meditated this morning. I was like, I'm coming on this podcast. I'm doing something different. So I just sat in this in this big puffy beanbag that I got and put in a little, just a little guided meditation, and it just brings me back into a calm place at the moment, but I still haven't been able to reach the different kind of dimensional levels that I used to be able to.
I've been loving meditation. I recently picked it up too, and like a full-on sitting, legs crossed, crystals around me.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Frequency in my ear, and even like I'm nowhere near being able to, transport my consciousness and shit.
It's a little one. It's a learning.
It's about going within yourself and calming down and, just being there, not fucking having thoughts racing through your mind, just understanding the world as it is and being part of it. And it's really refreshing, man. If you don't meditate, you should at least try. Give it a go. You might learn something.
It's also, there's different genres of meditation, like there is music, you know what I mean? You can listen to, if you're on the Calm app or Headspace app, they're going to kind of walk you through maybe anxieties or stress or just being present or letting go of your thoughts. But the guided meditations that I started off were journeys. It's like reading a fictional book. They do the breath work, get you out of your own head, and then take you on a journey somewhere. And that really gets you to those places. But and you can do that, I guess, on your own. But I think now that I've had all the guided meditations that have taken me on different journeys, I can kind of take them on like my own and kind of go like, oh, you're in this space, you're here, you're there, and my brain will just do the rest. But there is different genres of meditation that you can dabble into.
Yeah, wow, that's crazy, man. That is, I've been saying I've been wanting to get into it.
Just do it, man. 5 minutes.
I really but you know what I mean? Like, I'm human. I fall victim to the whole, oh man, I'm too busy making beats. I'm trying to work on a DZ album. I'm doing this. I've got to make my own single. I fall victim to that shit still, bro. Like, that's how I feel. Like, I've got work coming out of my fucking ass. We've got a podcast. I've got trying to stay relevant when you're a nobody, essentially, is the hardest part about the business. And that's what people don't understand. Like, it's not all fucking fun and games of, I made a song. It took me fucking an hour and I just released it and it was easy. Man, like, fuck, you guys should know by now, man. We got to make the covers, make the album covers, do the marketing, message it to this guy, send it to him, release it, get fucking 2 likes on it. No one gives a fuck. Go again until people give a fuck. You know what I mean? So I really feel like if I was able to stop even just for half an hour, even maybe before I start making my beats, just to sit down with my crystals, meditate, and really think about what I want to achieve with the session, with the music session I'm going to have on a particular day. I think that would help me a lot, but I still haven't tried it, and I do really, really want to give it a go.
It's really hard to start to, like, man, like you said, I was like you too, but you just have to, it's like going to the gym. You have to take the first step, and you really just got to be dedicated to wanting to achieve something, wanting to get something out of it. wanting to learn about yourself and the world. And you just got to take the step, man. You just got to take the plunge.
Yeah. All right. Well, look, I've got a question for both of you, and we'll start with Sally first. So, like, obviously we've all heard about those crazy things where spiritual people go into the woods for 72 hours and they eat a bunch of shrooms and they come back and they're like completely blown away. Would you try it? What do you think? How would that go down for each of you guys individually? I know I'd give it a go. I'd be fucking shit scared. But I think you'd come back completely different. Do you think you'd come back full hippie dresses? You know what I mean? Like, how would that shit go down?
No, not unless you're Jim Carrey. But but I think a huge part of spirituality is understanding the ego. And when you do something like that, you have to release your ego because you have to go and do something that has nothing of benefit to your daily activity. You're not making new music. You're not making a new podcast. You're not doing the things that are moving you forward, but you're doing something that is like more transcendent of the everyday do's. And like going into something like that, you have to kind of acknowledge your fear in it as well, because it's something that's going to be like hardcore. And spirituality is hardcore, man. Like personal development is hardcore because it's a mental game and people don't want to face their demons. And sometimes it doesn't mean like, sometimes people think like facing your demons or personal development means that you have to have gone through some deep shit or you've had some crazy experience that you need to address. Like, no, there's things from your childhood. You can imagine being in primary school and you're getting bullied, or a teacher does something or something happens to you that's embarrassing. Like as a kid, your world is that small. So when something like that happens to you, it's huge. Like it's like having something bigger that we consider abuse or like loss or something like that. But like when you're a kid, things are much bigger than in your mind, you know what I mean? And there's still like little hurts and little kind of like scratches on your ego and in who you are. So when you go and dive into like your whole entire life, your childhood and things like that, and things like mushies and going away and solituding yourself for a couple of days is where shit like that will come up. Like I've done things where I've had like random stuff, like my gymnastics teacher got me to do a roly-poly in front of the class and I fucked it up and everyone laughed at me and it was like, oh my God. And that was horrifying for me. You know what I mean? I had to go back and just be like, dude, like, that's okay, but it's until you introspect, and that's the beautiful thing about mushrooms and stuff that let you do that it brings up all that like little past shit, and that's where you grow as a person and you realize, it doesn't really matter. Like I'm just doing my thing, and it doesn't matter if you mess up, I'm still here. It doesn't matter if you embarrass yourself or if someone yells at you, like it's all good. So I think, going out and doing something like that, you got to release your fear. You got to release your ego. You got to release your life. So I'd 100% be down for that. I've kind of done weird shit like that anyways, but I'd definitely be down for that. I recently just did a DMT trip, which we can get into a little bit later if we want to. But that was pretty hardcore to
really.
Yeah, that was pretty hardcore to have to dive into the fear of that. But I would consider that like going off into the mountains, eating mushrooms and just being like, you know what, I just got to let go of everything and just get into it.
Shit, man. Okay, that's crazy. All right, DZ, you.
Well, I mean, I don't think you need, obviously you don't need drugs to do introspection, but it obviously helps for a lot of people. It's like, it's a completely different way to look at things, and it's just, and I'm not into drugs too much, man. I'm not a fucking drug taker, but like if I were to go into the woods on some, I am interested in psychedelics. It's very interesting to me and it's very fascinating, but I've never done any. And if I were to go into the woods and do some for a couple of days, especially if it was my first time, I'm very good at not freaking myself out, especially in like if it was psychedelics, I'd think. But obviously an experience like that, man, you don't really know what to expect, do you? Like fucking, I think I'd be all right. I think I'd come out different for sure. I think I'd do a lot of fucking deep soul searching. But man, I can't really say, like
even just take out the mushies and just being on your own for 3 days. Like that's pretty hardcore to just be on your own.
You could even just go in the woods on like I mean, fuck. Like you got.
I'm great on my own. I enjoy my own company a lot. Don't get me wrong. So
Well, that Tom Brady quote. You got to be careful being alone because once you realize how fucking peaceful it is, it becomes addictive. It's addictive, man, being alone. But you could just go into the woods just fucking sober. But then it's like we don't live in America where you could go in the woods, get eaten by a bear or fucking like killed by a fucking Sasquatch or something. Like I feel like here in Oz, you could probably disappear to a cabin. Like me personally, my perfect spiritual escape, man. And I know the whole point is supposed to be like going on your own with nothing and just sort of being in tune. But man, to me would be, man, shout out Strong Maurice. I know he's told me something similar, bro. You go out into the cabin in the woods, bro. You've just got like a little MPC controller, the thing that makes beats, bro. You got a little microphone recorder. You can record the nature sounds, bro. You put them in the machine, bang. You just make these weird, wacky, like tribal music, bro. That to me would be a perfect escape.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
That's your art.
That's,
and art, art
soul,
is spiritual,
man.
bro. Art, like that creative like space. Like that's what writing is for me. I need to do that because without it, like that's where I reach spirit. And when you're in creation, when you're deep in it, when you're making your music, when you're rapping, when you're writing, like that's where you're on your own anyways, you know what I mean? If anyone's in your space, or not in your space, but like that's where you want to be because that's where your soul is, that's where your creation is. So like fucking oath, being in a cabin and doing what you want to create, like that's mad.
You make the best art when you've relinquished your ego, man. When you're in there from a state of, true purpose and just with your soul, you're letting your soul guide you and not letting your ego say, I've got to make this so I get this result. If you're just sitting there and you just let it flow, man, you make better art.
We talked about
what
this.
Flow state is
100%.
Yeah, exactly.
Talked about it in the last episode, man. Love versus fear. What side you want to be on, man? This is all just the love side. Everyone's doing their own thing, but just loving other humans. It's a good way to live your life. You know what I mean? I
dive into fear, man. Like when you dive into fear is when you find love, like because fear is what's stopping you from a lot of shit. Like, and even coming here, being in front of a microphone, something different. I had all these butterflies in my tummy, but I was like,
that's good.
Yeah, but I was smiling. Good. I'm like, that's the feeling that I love. I love feeling fear, and I'm an adrenaline junkie. Like, I want to jump off all the canyon swings and all the bungee jumps and stuff like that because where that fear is, when I know that I just get past it. And I go into something a little bit unknown, a little bit scary.
Makes you feel alive.
That's where the magic is, man. That's when shit happens where you learn. That's the juice.
The world is beautiful, man. People take it for granted, man. And it's crazy how, like, the trees and everything, it's like a mirror of the human body. You've definitely seen that shit. Like, in the lungs and and it's like roots of a tree and everything is just a reflection. Everything's the same, man. What is it, the Fibonacci sequence or whatever, the golden ratio. I got a question for you, a brief question, because we're talking about crystals. I'm just curious, how many crystals do you have? A lot, I imagine, right?
I don't really like get into the crystal thing.
Really?
I have crystals. I do. I
love crystals.
I love them, but I just don't understand them. There was a really cool thing that I heard from this really spiritual lady, and she was saying that crystals, right, are okay. It's a hard concept to explain, but like someone's had a trauma or an emotional thing, right? And when they die, the emotional blockages turn into like pockets in the earth. And when they're resolved, they turn into crystals. So I look at crystals and I'm like, oh, this is like a resolved trauma of someone's. Like if someone's turned something like adversity into, into something good or whatever, like that's what the crystal is. So I've found a respect of that. I explained it so much worse than what she did, but I've found a respect for crystals in that way where it's like,
I've never heard of that. Wow.
See, the reasons, that's a cool question because the reasons I've got my crystals right there on my speaker, right where I make my music. And the reason I got into them, I wasn't into them. Right. One day, me and Chloe were out. I don't know what we're doing. I'm pretty sure we went out to Springwood somewhere up the mountains. We're looking for, we're just shopping for the dog, getting a lead and collar a couple of years back. And we ended up going into this like weird ass shop, man. They had fucking salt lamps everywhere, hanging like chandeliers, cool country music playing. It was a cool vibe, right? And on this little table they had like just rocks. I'm like, what the I'm like, what is all this weird shit? And Chloe's like, oh. She's like, okay. And there was a little sign right in front of these rocks. It says, close your eyes, stick your hand out, grab any crystal, and then read from whatever box. So it was obviously like a shelf, and then like maybe 15 boxes with different rocks in them. And whichever crystal you grab from that box, read the card on the box. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, all right. And this is right when we first started making our hip hop hard. I'm pretty sure it was maybe before we released Supervillain. So I was like, all right, close my eyes, pick up the rock. It's the first crystal I got. Read the card, and it said something in. I got a screenshot on my computer somewhere, but it said something along the lines of like something that you were working on is going to reach great success. And I was like, nah, man. I was like that. And then Chloe was fucking mind blown. She was like, oh my god, what the? She's like, you have to buy that if you put. Right. That shit. That's not. I don't give a fuck what anyone says, man. That is not coincidence. That is not. And to this day, I checked the Supervillain plays. We've got like over 3K views and like in plays and shit on that shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like that.
Every time, like I get so many signs. Signs are everywhere. You got to open yourself up to them, and you will start seeing signs, man. Repeating numbers, all that shit. There's something to that stuff, man.
27.
And every time I look at something that's like remotely a horoscope or a daily reading or something, or something to do with the music, it's always success, music success, money success. Just keep going. Just keep going. Every time, even if I have doubts, I'll get a sign. Keep going. Keep doing the music, man. And like, I don't need any more proof. We're on the right path, man. We're doing the right thing.
So that's why now my crystal collection, every time I go up to that Springwood shop, man, I stand in there like an idiot with my eyes closed. I've got my hand outstretched, bro, and I'm picking up these rocks, and every fucking little card I read, man.
How many do you have?
I've got 4 up there. We had a whole bunch over here. I think we moved them into the bedroom. So I've got 4, 5, 6, 7 in there. Chloe's got a few.
See, I never thought about.
I dig it, man. I dig it. I really do dig it.
Yeah, I'm into the crystals too, but like it's not necessarily for like the energy they give off and everything. I just like the crystals, you know. Obviously, I do pay attention to what they are and what they're supposed to be doing. But that's so interesting that you said. I've never heard that.
I like what totems or signs or crystals, I like what they bring, and it brings out what's in you. So you two are very motivated, you're very driven, and you're going to attract that energy. Like, I'm a massive advocate for energy, right? And
same.
You're going to attract the energy that you're putting out. And the beautiful thing about, I guess, you know, angel cards, tarot cards, crystals, all the sort of hippie things that are out there is that when you've got this energy that you're putting out, you're going to get this attraction of, you know, what you kind of deserve and what you get. And even if you get like something that's like a little bit like, you know, ooh, like something's going to happen, like maybe just be wary or something like that. Like, it's how you interpret it. And when you're people that are motivated and you try and see the good and all that kind of stuff, that's when you can interpret it in the best way. And when you're looking for it, like if you're a shut off person, I've got a fair amount in my family of people that just like, nah, like science are bullshit, everything's bullshit, like whatever. It's like, you're never going to understand because you're never going to look deeper. Like, you're never going to put your hand over a crystal and be like, well, what am I going to get? You know what I mean? Because and a lot of the time it's not a matter of like whatever crystal you're going to get, whatever, you know, whatever message, it's going to fit you every time. But when it doesn't, or when it's whatever, you still interpret it in a way that's going to help you, or that's going to relate to you. You know what I mean? But I think it's really awesome to have the personality and the mental capacity to analyze things like that and analyze signs and see numbers and be like, what does it mean? You know what I mean? Because that means you're looking for meaning. And when you're looking for meaning, you find meaning in everything. And that's the fucking point of life, to just kind of live in that meaningful space where you're not just existing. You're like, this means something. This means I can move forward. This means that I'm a good person. This means that I love my family. This means that. And it's like, that's where the good shit is of like enjoying life, is finding that meaning.
You got to be open to the signs. You got to be open, or else you're not going to find them. Like goes to like. You are a magnet. Law of attraction, law of assumption. You get what you put out.
That's just real, man. Now let's talk about it now, because I'm way too curious. Sally, explain.
Yeah, I got a question. Erin left the question to talk about that.
About DMT.
I knew she would too, Erin.
Yeah. Erin,
I knew she would.
I want to hear this. So Erin's question was to ask Sally about her DMT experience.
Oh, okay, yeah. Look, bro, fuck. See, I've only heard one story of a bloke I know, a very good friend of mine, who did DMT, but long story short, he said what he saw was that scary. He pulled himself out of his trip and never did it again. So like I said, he could have just been in a bad mind state when he did it. You never know. But I'm sure when we bring him on, I'll ask him about it.
Was that Dunkley?
No.
I was very prepared. So I went into it not just like, oh, I'm going to trip out, like whatever. Like it was a spiritual thing for me. It was, I know I've been to the different dimensions. I've met different beings. I've been to these different places just through meditation. So I knew that they existed, but because I've kind of haven't lost it. I know that's there, but because I haven't been meditating every day and all that kind of stuff, that I can't get to those places, but I know they're there. I'm like, I know DMT will show me something and take me back to some place or take me somewhere that is not this world. So that was the reason why I did it. But I was also very cautious. Like I wrote letters to the universe and I said, take me to a place where I'm going to learn something. Take me to a place of love. Take me to a place of connection. Take me to a place.
So just quickly, you physically wrote down.
Yeah, I write to the universe. So you know how people write.
That's the way to do it.
I love that shit, man. I fucking love that shit, man.
Yeah, like you know how people like write to God or whatever, like dear God.
Yep.
The universe is my God.
I'm
the same, bro. So I feel like the universe is the one answering my questions, bro. Yeah. Sorry, keep going.
I met the universe in DMT. I met it. Fuck, it's so weird to explain because it's
inexplainable way. That's what everyone says.
Yeah. It's fully nothing from this place. So I'll start from the start. My friend, he has like a volcano vaporizer, so we use that. Which, do you know what a volcano vaporizer is? It's just like, it looks like a kitchen appliance, but it basically like it can vaporize weed. Or any like sort of thing to its exact temperature that it's supposed to be, and it comes in a bag, and you can just smoke everything from the bag, so you don't need to light it as you do it.
Oh, okay, holy shit!
Yeah, so
you just put DMT in this thing, and it's
and it just blows it up into a bag like a balloon, and then you can just smoke it from there.
Wow,
yeah.
Okay.
So I got comfy. I was in like good clothes, and I wrote myself a mantra at the start of the day because I knew obviously you kind of have to let go into a trip, which can be scary. So I wrote like, I'm safe, I'm free, and I'll return to my body. That was just my mantra. So I was hardcore prepared, and I don't think anyone should go into it if they don't have reasons. Like if they're not looking for something, if you're not open to what it's going to bring, if you don't know or do your research. I was watching documentaries upon documentaries, listening to podcasts. Like it's not something that you just like, I guess, mess with because you're going, anyways, whatever. But yes, I took the volcano vaporizer and I took like 3 puffs, and basically like immediately everything like goes pixelated in front of you. So like imagine like a TV screen just kind of like pixelating and going weird or whatever. It just goes like that in front of you. And I had an eyepiece on, so I put that down and just fell asleep. And I felt myself like fall asleep, like really nicely just fall asleep. And basically my trip was 8 minutes. I was out for 8 minutes, but I went into this space where it is like an endless dimensional reality of color, and all that I can explain it is that it's just pure like emotion and oneness. So I knew that there was like all these beings there, and I knew that there were all these souls there, but like I wasn't separate to it. And I guess what like the biggest part for me going into it was that I had to have a full ego death. So I feel like I've experienced death in a way that when I need to take a breath. I'm talking a lot.
Like, this sounds fucking
This
crazy,
is awesome.
Honestly, man, we should do DMT on FireCast.
I reckon that's what death's like. The DMT realm, I reckon that's what happens when you die.
I was saying that last night. So what had to happen, right, was that when I was entering the trip and I had like losing grip of reality, and it was all colours and pictures and stuff like that, all I heard was the start of my mantra saying like, I'm safe, I'm free, I'll return to my body. And then all I heard was I'm safe, I'm safe. And then it didn't make sense. It wasn't English anymore. So it was like someone was yelling at me in like Italian. It was just like, I'm safe. And I'm like, I don't know what you fucking mean. And anyways, I had to let go of anything that I knew in this life. So the last thing I thought of was James, my boyfriend James. And I was like, the last thing I could think of was him. And I was like, oh my God, if I'm leaving, like, how's he going to be? What's it going to be like? All that kind of stuff. But it felt like scary when I thought of that. And I knew all I heard was I'm safe. I didn't know what it meant, but I was like, just, you have to let go. So the last thing I let go of was James. And then it was just like complete freedom in the universe with these beings and these colors and this dimension. And Like I didn't exist. Like there was nothing in that trip that was Sally or that was of this life. Like for 8 minutes, what felt like maybe to me, maybe 20 minutes, it wasn't that long. It wasn't like people say, for me anyways, that people say that it could be in there for days. Mine was like 20 minutes, but I was just in a complete space where it wasn't me. And the first thing that brought me back to my body and to my reality was the end of my mantra that said, I'll return to my body. So I was in this trip, I was in this space,
shit.
and all I heard was, I'll return to my body. And then I was like, fuck, I've got a body, I've got a life, James, this, that, like, get back to it, you know what I mean? And from then on, it was like history. I had this beautiful, like, kind of energy where I was being like rebirthed, and like the universe was like, you know, we love you, everything's guided, you can go home now, like you'll be back here, you don't belong here, just go back. And so then, yeah, and then I took my fucking first little moment of twitching my fingers, like coming out of a deep meditation or whatever. And I was like, the first words I said to Taraz, he was my friend that was like sort of watching me and guiding me and stuff, and he was just like, the first words I said to him, I was like, it's so beautiful.
Oh, man.
That is death.
Hell.
That's what happens when you die. I'm certain, man. That's what it's like. I've wanted to do DMT for a while. I've heard like Joe Rogan and stuff talk about it, and like you see colors that don't exist, and like you hear people different language. I've heard that before, where people have said that it sounds like a different language, but they understand it.
Yeah,
it's not English, but you understand it.
No one spoke, but I fully got it. Like when they're saying like everything is guided, you know, they're saying everyone is here, like your mum's here, like all this kind of stuff. But like those words they weren't spoken to me, but I knew. And it was like this complete realm of connected oneness where I didn't know the life that I've lived now. I didn't know Sally. I didn't care where I was going. I was just there.
It didn't matter.
It didn't fucking matter. Nothing there mattered, but it was just pure emotion. It was just pure connection. It was really, really beautiful.
Actually, one time I tried to do DMT with a couple of my mates, but it didn't work that well. We didn't do it properly.
You can't just do it. You gotta prepare.
It was like we overburnt. Like we didn't have a vaporizer. You know what I mean? And we like burnt it. Like you can't burn it too much. And like the most we got was like, you could see like the wind, but then it just fucking it was like
you could see the wind.
Like it was terrible.
Look,
but I do want to do it properly.
Shit like that scares me so much, but I want to do it because just like you were saying, Sal, once you let go, I think you will finally understand your purpose on this fucking planet. Like, you know what I mean? And because once again, I'm not going to lie, for me personally, my soul, it always revolves around the music. So I'll be fucking thinking for weeks, okay, I'm going to go into this thing to find out what is music. Like, what is it to me? What is it? Like, just what are these musical notes I can hear and I can put down in my computer, or I can play on my keyboard? What does that really mean to my soul? And I'll be just thinking, and hopefully that if I ever did it, it takes me to a place where I can get some sort of light on if I'm in the right direction, if I'm doing the right thing, because I feel like we're going in the right direction.
We are, man.
But I would love Lady Universe to fucking give me that nudge, man, to tell me, bro, like, you're doing all right.
If you love if you love it, you're doing it.
Exactly.
You're doing it right, man.
Yeah. It's
just
keep going.
You have both got that passion, that drive, and that's all it takes. And honestly, it's funny, when you started this podcast, you said something about like trying to stay relevant when you're nobody. Mm-hmm. But after my DMT trip, I kind of, delved a little bit more into a couple of documentaries, and I'm watching one at the moment called Becoming Nobody. And with the release of the ego as well, like I had a fully complete ego death, and the only thing that I learned from that is like, fuck it, you can just do whatever you want to do, because when you die, none of it matters. You don't remember your life. You're in a beautiful place. It's not a matter of that none of it matters in a bad sense, is that none of it matters, so you might as well fucking give it your all, and you might as well love it, and you might as well just, chase whatever it is that you're chasing, because like all the little things are just, they're not going to matter, you know what I mean?
Not going to matter.
Do you think that's what happens when you die? Now that you've visited that realm, do you think that's the next journey? Like, what do you think about it?
I do, but I think it's, I think it is kind of how you live your life as well. So I feel like I live spiritually. I live trying to be a good person. I live trying to do something with my life. But I don't think that realm like it might exist for like I'm kind of looking at people that like do horrible things in their life and stuff like that.
Not for everybody.
But I've heard a lot of people's DMT trips where they don't reach that threshold of getting over to that space. They're in this limbo space, and there's been a couple that have matched up, which is really odd to me. Sorry, I wasn't in the microphone fully, but it was really odd to me because a lot of people go to this space where I have a friend whose brother had it, and I remember being in this space when I meditated when my mum was passing, and I went to this weird space where I believe that's where she was, in this middle ground. And it's this like kind of green field paddock. There's waterfalls. It's really beautiful, but you're faced with things that you need to address. And my friend's brother, he went into it, and he was in this paddock in this field. I need to take a breath again. And he was in this. He saw this big ball of like knowledge. What he saw as this big black ball of knowledge. But it was like he had to, and people that died in his life were in there. But he had to make this decision of whether he wanted to go into that or whether he wanted to go back to his kids in real life. All this weird, scary shit. But it was a middle ground. And I remember meditating when my mum was passing, and I went into this middle ground, and I felt that she was there because she hadn't fully crossed over yet. So I'm thinking, for me, for death, there's a space of oneness and eternity and connection where you go if you're ready for it. But if you haven't fully learnt everything, you go to a bit of a different space where you need to kind of address all the things first.
Oh, so it's like a no man's land that you must learn as a human, where you have a consciousness. You have to learn how to get there first. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, you have to. And with that black ball of knowledge that this guy saw, I believe that if he went into it, he would have entered the realm of like full DMT realm, full death
freedom.
realm, like full freedom, or
wow,
full, like, because that's where you learn in this oneness, where you learn from all the souls and they're all together. But if you haven't jumped into, like, if you're still so deeply in your ego in death, if you die and it's still all about you, and you still think that life has done you hard, and you still don't take responsibility for your actions, you can't go to that place of freedom and oneness just yet, because, and you can get there, but you need to kind of release that ego. And that was for me when I thought about the stuff from my life. Sorry, I'm getting off on a tangent, but
no, this is crazy shit.
My heart's beating fast, man.
This
that shit scares me, bro.
This is real shit, man.
That's what I'm saying. And this is all parts of the brain that you can use as a human. You can use these things in your brain, can be unlocked. Now, once again, we're not saying you have to fucking go into the woods and do a bunch of drugs. Like, it just all starts from within. Just learning to love and being and that's, I'm still learning this shit as I'm going. I'm still trying to be that person who can just love everyone, and everyone's just cool with me. I don't care. Like, because back in high school, I wasn't like this at all. Back in high school, I had to be the cool kid, the popular kid, fucking
all about the ego, man.
You know what I mean? But now I'm still, like Sally is saying, I'm still slowly trying to literally kill my ego. And it's a hard, we're not saying you can just eat a mushroom and you're this cool fucking hippie guy. No, it's years of just finding yourself within and practicing to just be a better person. Even just something, where it all began for me was this is my personal journey, where I finally, because even back in high school, when I was this cool kid, this popular kid, I had 100 friends, fucking, I was talking to heaps of girls. Like, back then, I wouldn't think before I spoke. And still, like, now as a joke, I fuck around a lot, but now it's taken me almost 5 years where now I actually think for a second, okay, when someone says something, especially in the work environment, someone says something that kind of gets to you a little bit, they're trying to tell you what to do, boss you around, think, okay, you know what? I don't give a fuck. Yeah. Who cares?
Let it go.
If he wants to be that cool guy at work, he thinks he knows, he's the most experienced guy, let him do what, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about this job. So you just let it go, bro. But back in the day, if this was me in high school, I'd respond. I'd attack back because I'm taking the bait. He's fishing. This guy's fishing and I'm biting every fucking time. And I still know a lot of people that do that. They bite at every little fucking...
Most people.
You know what I mean? They see the bait, but they don't see the hook. Yeah. And they're biting and they bite. Just that is a perfect start where you can just stop taking that bait, man. Because that guy doesn't care about your feelings. So why take his bait? Stop fucking reacting and fucking, you know what I mean? So even just starting like that, that's where it all started for me. Where now I've finally let go. And so next time you go to work, for anyone watching, think about it. When your manager goes off for you because you did something that's not really important, who cares? Instead of fighting back and reacting, just let it go. Sorry, bro. I'll do it better next time, you know?
It's called energy projection.
Yes.
When people want to project their negative energy on you because they're not taking it on themselves. And it's like if you have that shield, as you said to you, if you're just like not taking that bait, that projection of their shit, like it's concepts that I guess my mum was teaching to me really early on in her development and personal development was it's their shit. Like when you think that when someone's doing anything, like even like a cashier or just anyone that gives you a little bit of narky, like, I'm sorry that you got shit. You know, you don't say that to them. You don't have to, you know what I mean? But it's like instead of going back and then, because what happens is when they project their energy onto you, you go home to your partner and you say, you know what this fucking bitch did, you know, the thing, and she said this. And I was like, "Meh," and then you're projecting that energy that got projected onto you, onto your partner.
Your home life.
And it's just,
man.
it's just that like negative snowball
And
of shit.
when you start doing this and you do a little bit of introspection, you go on this journey, you will notice that a lot, and you'll be able to see through people, and you can just see like who's a narcissist, and people are all about themselves, and anything they're giving you is a reflection on how they feel about themselves. And you just got to be able, you know, if someone is yelling at you or is, you know, being an asshole, you just got to kind of take a step back, feel how that makes you feel, and just let it go. You know what I mean? Don't sit on it. Don't ruminate with it. And you'll notice it a lot too. People are just narcissists. All they're doing is trying to get people interested in their story. The only time I talk about myself these days is on the fucking podcast because, like, you know, that's what we're supposed to do. But at work, when people were telling me their stories, I don't even give my input, like, because I don't care, man, and it doesn't matter. Like, let them be them, and I'll do me, and I'll be happy about it.
And that's the thing too. That's what I'm saying. Anyone listening to this, right? Just think next time. Then when you're back at work, right? Even say you've got no work because of COVID. When you go back, when you walk in the door of your factory, of your warehouse, of your whatever, just wait. Just, you know, take a step back and see who's the first person who asked you, man, how'd you go, bro? Like, were you all right during thingy? Like, what did you get up to? Just wait and see. Because I can guarantee you there will be people out there, as soon as you walk in, oh, man, I fucking was doing this, bro. I fucking mowed my lawns 2 times. I took my dog. Like, you know what I mean?
And you will see it so clearly.
And that's a simple step that can help change your life. It's just taking a step back and for once, okay, you know what? Let this guy ramble on about it because he probably had a shit time at home, probably stuck at home with the wife that hates him and the kids that shit him up the wall. You know what I mean? Just take a step back. Oh, yeah, bro, that's unfortunate for you, bro. And just see if they ask. So what did you do? How were you? You know what I mean? I'm trying to be that person. Fuck it, bro. How'd you go, man? Like, were you all right? Like, were you know what I mean? Just not caring about myself all the time.
It's funny how long people will talk about themselves if you
let them.
If you engage and let them. Have you read the book How to Win Friends and Influence People?
No. Nah.
It sounds like a cheesy title, but it's really interesting just talking about the interaction between people, and it's very business orientated as well because obviously in business and you're trying to make friends with the producers or anyone that you're trying to like woe into your space or anything like that. So it's very business orientated, but the author speaks about feeding into people's stories in a way of just like, yeah, and how did that go? And then what happened? You know what I mean? And the funny thing is that people
don't stop.
They don't stop, but they really like you, and they walk away and they go, God, that person's so nice and so attentive or whatever, and they wouldn't even think, I didn't ask them about anything to do with them, you know what I mean? And even if they do, if it's someone that you're trying to get to like you or someone that you're trying to, you know, win over in some sort of way, you can just continue, you can talk a little bit about you and whatever because they've asked, and you go into a bit of detail and then you go back to them, and it's that give and take of energy where people stroke the ego, but allow your ego to also be stroked, because you can also talk about yourself and share your interests with people as well. But it's like the amount that people will talk about themselves and find the positive impact that you've had on them when you haven't done anything.
That's so weird, eh?
Yeah, man. Read yours first out.
Right, so this is a good one from Callan. Shout out Aussie Slang.
Yeah, shout out Aussie Slang, baby.
On the Psychologist Stream episode, 13 I think it was. He says, what are your views on the current climate of the world in terms of spirituality?
Ooh.
Now, I want to hear from you first.
Yeah.
What do you think COVID, what's the impact on spirituality as a whole, like for the world?
From COVID or just where everything's at?
I guess where everything's at. So like, politics and people and, everything.
I think our generation is going to be the savior of it.
I agree. I'd say the same shit.
Yeah. Our generation, and it's the beautiful thing about the connection of social media and the internet. Like there is a lot of harmful stuff in there for people that aren't using it right, or people that compare themselves and things like that. I compare myself all the time, so it's just natural habit.
Human nature.
Human nature, yeah. But I think collectively, I was only having this conversation the other day, because we have the ability now to understand that there's more people that are into what we're into, or there's more forums and websites and things that you can look at where you don't feel alone, that connection itself has really, really grown. And in terms of spirituality, I think that our generation now is more loving and caring. There's like not as, I guess, if you look at history, there's nothing, I can only say in Australia really, like the rest of the world is still developing, but not the rest of the world, but there's a lot of countries still developing. But there's a lot less like violence, and in terms of things where everything's more aware now, where we just want to, our generation wants to spread more love. And I think that that's really going to be like the pinnacle of us as parents putting on new value systems to kids. So I think that we're kind of the turning point of building upon spirituality. But we're only learning now ourselves in our like 20s and stuff like that. So we're going to be able to like kind of give a little bit of extra help and understanding and care to our children that will end up like growing that spiritual space even more. So I think it's in a turning point, and I like it way much more than what my parents had to go through and the shit that their kind of headspace is in. I
100% agree with what you just said. I think that sadly, look, no offense to the older fans we have. I know we actually got a couple, right? But our parents' generation and stuff, I think they grew up at the, technological age. They grew up with the news and with the media, and they just take it at face value. There's no getting through to some of this older generation, bro. They believe the news is telling them. They believe the government loves them. They believe everything is perfect.
Heaps controlled.
Exactly. And it's not their fault. It's just what they've grown up. But since we kind of were born into it already a little bit, we kind of learn how to develop skills and harder critical thinking skills, and we can kind of look at things and question things. And I think in terms of spirituality, the same thing, like we're going to raise our kids with values of loving everybody. Everybody, we're all the same.
Everyone's your equal,
it doesn't matter if you're black, you're Asian, you're brown, you're white, doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And I think we definitely have the potential. People are waking up, man, with the internet. With all the bad, there's a lot more good, I feel. You just got to look for it. If you don't let it consume you or the negativity, you'll find that love. And I think we're the generation to kind of bring it forward, you know what I mean? To kind of let the world evolve and go to the next level, you know what I mean? But we got to put in the work. And I think we're getting there. I think we're going to win in the end. But, it's just a journey. It's about raising your kids right, teaching them good values, and loving everybody. You know what I mean?
If spirituality is kind of a lack of ego, a lack of needing to be controlling of everything around you,
or better,
or than others, all that kind of shit, then that's where it's all heading. Because when you think of like parents, like teachers had it over them, smacking them with rulers, the news had it over everyone, like it was doctor's word is gospel, like all that kind of stuff. Like everyone was just all about what they say is right. My dad was very much like that, like very dominant, like I'm head of the family, this is how it goes, this, and it's all like trying to get on top in a way. And same thing with like connecting, like imagine being gay, fucking 40 years ago, where it's just like shunned and you're not allowed to be who you are and all that kind of stuff. Now with social media, just now with the connection of like the world, it's like there are so many people out there. Like the world is just like a bunch of different people doing different things, having different experiences, and it's not about one person being better than another or having it over. Like we're not going to be fathers or mothers being like, my word is everything. Like if anything, I'm excited to have kids because I'm like, you're going to teach me some shit.
Yeah,
like,
100%, man.
You know what I mean? Like I'm
100%.
ready to share that experience, not be the dictator of that experience.
100%. That's what I'm looking forward to. having a child, man. We're going to do things
Congratulations,
Very different.
by the way.
Thank you. Very excited. Yeah, what's your opinion on all of this, on spirituality, current state of affairs on spirituality?
Okay. Is that?
It's a motorbike.
Is that a motorbike?
Yeah,
Oh,
out there.
hell.
I was hearing. I thought it was fucking raining and shit.
I thought it was fun. So what Kellen asked, what's the state of spirituality because of this whole COVID thing?
Yeah, what are your views on the current climate of the world in terms of spirituality?
Well, look, I mean, to me, really, like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I'm not going to put myself in the spiritual category yet because I'm still learning. I'm still a fucking Padawan in this whole thing.
But it's not
like,
about
you know what I mean?
that either. It's just about, you know.
Yeah. But what I believe is that this whole COVID thing is just separating the people who truly are real about loving others and loving themselves for what we are and that we're all equals. It's just showing the true colors of the people that aren't like that.
Hell yeah.
It's literally just, and the thing that I hate the most is that this is what the government and the higher powers want. They want a divide and a split. But unfortunately, this is literally showing a split, a divide on the people like ourselves who this doesn't really affect us because we know this is just part of a bigger picture.
Mm-hmm.
But there's people out there that are literally, like you said, got the news on, oh, man, a man punched a horse in the face and that
didn't even happen.
It didn't even happen.
Did you see the videos? I can't believe I shared those videos and still my parents and everything is saying, like, they believe, yes, it's like the video I clearly showed of 9 News saying.
That's what I'm saying.
They said COVID doesn't work outside.
Yeah.
And when the Black Lives Matter protests happened, they said that's why no cases. But now that this other protest happened, all of a sudden, what's the difference? It doesn't matter what your views are.
Yeah.
That's just clearly bias. And you should not pay attention to that because that's an obvious agenda.
Yeah.
Turn that fucking 9 News, 10 News, Carl Stefanovic, turn that bullshit off, man. It's not doing you any good. It's only there to control. Anyway, that's all I'm going to say before But
so to me, this is all just, this current situation is just showing people's true colors. That's all it is to me. That's all it's doing, man.
Showing people that need to yell their opinions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good question, Callum, man. Shout out Aussie slang, bro. I'll munch through some of my Insta ones because there's actually a few. We probably got a few double questions, people asking me and you
I only really got one more.
But
just from Joey. So
Nicole Curtis says thoughts on what is this? Psilocybin? What is that? And reaching the afterlife. So we talked about reaching the afterlife, but what's psilocybin?
That's like what's in the chemical compound in mushrooms and shit, like psilocybin.
Oh,
mushrooms.
okay. So thoughts on it? Yeah, I think, I'm all for it. Like I'm all for it, bro. Like
Who asked that one?
Yeah,
Nicole Curtis. So shout out Nicole and Emma. Sally's closer to them than I am, but I've also known these girls for a while. While I was in America with them, we hung out for a little bit.
Sorry, just for a second, shout out to Emma because she's having a baby.
She's having a baby boy. So congratulations, Emma, man. That's
good
some
stuff.
Fucking good news, eh?
Hell yeah.
Shout out the Curtis sisters. But yeah, I think I'm fucking all for it, man. Like, look, so just quickly, I got emailed. I got offered a sponsorship for my streaming where these people wanted me to sponsor, like they're sending me a package of like this drink. And it's like it's not like an energy drink, but it's like a G Fuel thing where it's like a drink where it gives you more focus and yada, yada, yada. And I said, yeah, I'll do it. So they've sent me the package, but I just got to wait for it. But now I've just realized I asked them for a list of the ingredients, obviously. It's got fucking lion's mane in it, which is a fucking mushroom. And the lion's mane can help with depression, anxiety, heart disease and shit like that. So this all benefits for you. I don't even think it's going to get in the country now that I think about it.
Lion's mane's not illegal.
It's not illegal?
No, it's not a psychedelic mushroom. It's
okay.
It's like a herb. They have
It's
a lot of
literally
them.
a herb.
It's like
Okay.
you can get like shiitake mushrooms, lion's mane. There's a bunch of different herbal mushrooms that are really good for like the immune system, for the nervous system, all that kind of stuff. So it's more if it's for focus, that's where they would have the lion's mane in because it kind of regulates your nervous system to be able to think clearer.
Okay, well, perfect. Because so whatever this company is going to send me to, talk about on my streams and on my videos, it's got lion's mane in it, which is I'm all for it, man. She also says, "Can you talk about drugs, psychedelics?" Which I'm pretty sure.
I feel like we have. I think we covered that.
Hell yeah! So thanks for that, Nicole.
It's because I've been on the fucking psychedelic journey for the past 4 weeks. So any of my friends, I've like done mushies and DMT for the past 4 weeks, and I haven't taken anything for a long time. But I think everyone's very interested in what I've done for the past 5 weekends, 4 to 5 weekends. So if there's a couple more about that, that's probably why.
Yeah. Tori B, shout out, says, what do you contribute back to society?
Oh, that's a good one.
So I'll go first quickly. Just basically, one, my music.
I was going to say music.
my releasing enjoyable music is, I guess, the main goal. But 2, it's just, like I said, learning to be a better person. Mm-hmm. Just simple shit. Like, just you know what I mean? If someone wants to ramble on about their weekend and not ask me how I've been, fine. Let them talk. I'll listen with an open ear. You know what I mean? That's me.
Touching on that, one of the best ways to heal the world is to heal yourself. Yep. You know, once you become a better person and you do that introspection and you learn how to be a better person, just be a better person, make good choices and listen to other people. Really listen. Take it in. Don't just think about yourself. Try to kill the ego, man. Like, try to, keep it for what you need it, but, don't let it run your life,
So we'll go DZU and then Sally. What do you contribute back to society?
Well, I
music's our number one.
Yeah,
really.
I mean, and just what I said, man, just being a better person, making good choices, try to love, not hate, you know what I mean?
Sally?
I love this question. Like, when I got it, I was like, oh my God, what do I do for society? Like, lately I've been kind of focusing on reducing my waste, like, for the environment.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I went through a huge phase when I went to Nepal. I had this huge fucking shock, man, because they don't have the garbage bins that take things out, and they have rivers like this beautiful one that I'm looking at on the TV. They're supposed to be rivers, but they're just straight garbage, and you can smell them from
so sad,
fucking kilometers away. And I went there and I was horrified because it's not dug deep into the earth, but it's there for you to see, and it stinks and it's horrific, and people are throwing things from buses of just shit in the streets, and it's just a mess. But it made me kind of go like, holy crap, like, this is what things are when we don't have people dumping it into the earth, but it's still all there. Anyway, sorry, I got off a bit of a tangent. But at the moment, my contribution to society is I've started a compost bin, especially in the mountains. Now that I've moved there, they don't take your food waste. So you know how you get your food waste and you put it in the green bin? Mm-hmm. They don't do that at the mountains. So I've had to learn to compost. So I'm doing that, and just trying to look at all the ways to reduce my waste, which is making me feel a bit like it's making me feel good, but just for doing something for the environment. So I do that. And in terms of society, I'm just same thing as you, DZ and Iggy, just trying to be a person for a listening ear, trying to be a safe space for people that feel like they can talk to me if they want to. And I'm hoping to contribute a little bit more in the future when I start, doing stuff about health and wellness when I finish my degree and all that kind of shit. So I'm hoping to kind of bring a little bit more of like food awareness and mental health awareness and stuff.
Which is very important. I mean, if you're just a grub, don't be a grub. Learn to... Because on that topic, Zer actually left a thought of his. He said turtles are very important to the world.
Who said this?
Zer, ZXER. I don't know how to pronounce it. I just say Zer, but they are, man. I mean, like all marine life, all life on Earth, we got to do your part, man. It's not hard to just be conscious of what you put in your rubbish, you know what I mean? Don't be a grub. Like, do your part. It's not very hard, The world will be better off.
Okay, Tori says, should drugs be legal?
Not all of them.
Not all.
No way, man.
Yeah, I feel like we're all going to agree on this. Not all of them. Obviously, we've been talking a lot about the shrooms and DMT. Yeah.
Natural, if it's from the earth, sure. But if you're in a lab cooking up meth and shit, man,
you're
keep
making
that shit away.
You're making shards of crystal to sell to junkies because you know you're gonna make a buck. Man, come on, man, that's not cool. That's like a scumbag, bro.
Yeah, gross. I think that weed should be legal.
Oh yeah,
and I think
we're in the right direction. I think it's gonna be everywhere soon.
I think DMT and shrooms should be in a legalized space where proper like guiders and shamans and stuff like that can help you through it. Like not just readily available for everyone to eat. But I think if you have, there
should be a process. If you're going to a class or you're doing like you got to be mentally there.
Yeah, put the process in there because it can really mess people up.
Would you rather lose the ability to speak or lose the ability to read? Speak for me. I love reading too much. I don't have to speak anymore. As long as I can still read a cool book or read what someone else has to say.
Speaking's just noise, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather read. I'd rather I'd rather take information than give information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The wise man once said nothing.
That's real shit.
100%. What scares you about your future? Fuck, I think, look, I'm not really scared because I feel like especially Dylan too would probably be the same, because we're giving out such a strong energy and aura that we're going to get back what we're giving out. But obviously I think most people will just be, what scares you about your future is just not knowing what's going to happen. It's a scary but exciting feeling. So to me, it's just not knowing. But I think most humans would have that same answer. Just not knowing what's going to happen.
I'm very optimistic. So when it comes to the future, I'm always on the positive side. And I just think it's always going to be all right, man. No matter what happens. The worst thing that can happen is death, right? Everyone's fear stems from a fear of death. You relinquish that fear of death. I ain't scared of death. If I die, I know I'm going to be sweet. I believe all that shit. I believe I'm going to a realm of peace and beauty. And I believe the world is perfectly as it is. There's a plan. If I'm meant to die, I'll die. Once you relinquish that fear of death, life is, gets different, man. Like, I think we're all right. The universe has a plan and everything is exactly as it should be. That's my thoughts. What about you?
I'm scared of loss just because I know it now and don't want to deal with it again. But I know that we all have to, you know what I mean? I'm not scared of death. Like, I could die tomorrow and be like, fucking whatever. But whatever. But yeah, I'm scared of experiencing loss again. It's pretty rough. I'm scared of boredom. I don't want to get bored, but I know that I won't as well, because if I'm like, fear kind of makes you work, well, for me anyways, fear makes me work towards it, also against it. So if I'm scared of being bored in terms of like not really creating much in my life to keep myself busy, to keep myself all that kind of stuff, then that's my own fault and I can always change that around. But I guess scared of mundanity, like just life being day to day, living it out, like
that
Groundhog Day.
Getting the kids to school, going to work, doing the thing where you're just kind of like, who the fuck am I? Like what do I do? You know what I mean? Like I'm a bit scared of that, but in the same sense, when I say it, I feel like bullshit, man, because you're not going to do that.
It's all on you.
Yeah, it is.
You want to read some of your questions? I got a few.
I got one more because we already did Aaron's. So.
Okay, yep.
Joey says, I like this question. If there was an immortality pill, would you take it? You can find 2 more to bring 2 people with you.
Nah.
Hell no. Hell no. Why would you want to be immortal, man? Fuck that
bro.
shit.
I don't even want to fucking live past 60, to be honest, man. Fuck me. Like, fuck.
Really? You don't want to live past 60?
Man, the direction this fucking planet's going,
yeah,
to me, it fucking scares me. Don't get me wrong. I do have high hopes, like, because... You know what I mean? I feel like at the end of the day, love always wins.
It's going to be a virtual world very soon, man.
Fucking hell.
Yeah, like, it's fucked.
Yeah. I mean, if I can just be successful in the music industry, help people, help animals, set up my family, my kids, my grandkids, fuck, I could fucking die at 40. I'm like, heck, they got done my part. You know what I mean? But that's a very, like I said, morbid view of it, but it's the truth. Like, I don't really, like, I'm not, like... I'm here for a purpose, really, and my purpose is to just make music that sounds pleasing to the ear and set up my family. Like that's what I feel like I'm here for.
Humble.
So once that's done, bro, I could fucking go to the next place. I can go on and fucking take me wherever. My job's done. So yeah, fuck them like that.
Fuck
taking immortality, bro. That shit's fucking
not for me, man. I'd rather.
Imagine being...
Go when it's my time.
Imagine being 2,000 years old and everyone's dead. And you're just by yourself like shit.
He did say you can take 2 people with you.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
that does make it a little easier, but still, I don't know.
Wow.
I reckon I'd get sick of them after a while.
Yeah.
It's like Vampire Diaries.
Fuck that shit. Sally, did you have any questions? You said you had some on Snapchat or no?
No. I didn't have any questions.
Okay.
I just told them to question you.
Okay, yep. Yeah. You've got no more, DZ? Because I've got one that's going to change the whole dynamic of this podcast.
All right, here we go. What is it?
So, look, I won't name names just for, like confidentiality. What is
confidentiality?
It? That's the word. Can't say it. It just says bring awareness that the protests wasn't about the anti-lockdown protests, wasn't about fucking violence and like so-called world freedom. It was just about people were there for many reasons: homelessness, friends being killed, or people that have been getting sick from a vaccination that's not even 100% tested. You know what I mean? Just things like that. So I'll just ask, what did you guys think about it? Because I'm not gonna lie, like I'm all for it, bro. If the people need their voices to be heard, we must rally together. We got to come together, because there's a lot of people, and this is people that don't leave their bedrooms or don't contribute much, that have a lot to say. And I'm not trying to be a prick about it, but since humans have existed, we've needed to come together and protest about things to get things done. Like right now, we know that there's a bigger picture in play here. The government are up to something. The higher ups are up to something. But most people, like you said before, DZ, that people that just watch the news, older generation, they just watch the news and believe everything they hear and see on the internet. You know what I mean? I'm all for the protest.
Let me just, I kind of touched on before what I was saying, right? And just going off that, I know for a damn fact, I've seen people who were 2020, it was also lockdown, because I remember specifically I was more scared of the virus back then before I really understood it. And all these people were Black Lives Matter protesting in Sydney. And I thought, fuck, man, we're going to be locked down because these guys are protesting. I know for a damn fact, a lot of you people on the Instagram stories condemning this new protest were supporting that Black Lives Matter protest, like the news was, like that video I shared on my Facebook. The news said, Nine News said, if you haven't seen the video that's been going around, that the COVID particle doesn't work outside. So from that Black Lives Matter protest, they said this, that not a single case of outside transmission happened because the air doesn't work outside. But now they're saying all these people protesting freedom. Doesn't that move some cogs in your brain? Doesn't that think, wow, there's obviously an agenda here. I should stop watching this garbage, because you are just being controlled. Whether you think it is or not, no matter what reason you think you're watching the news, you watch it and you go, it doesn't affect me, it doesn't affect me. It does, man. They are just trying to control you and tell you things they want you to believe. Turn that shit off. It doesn't matter if you're for the protest or against. I support Black Lives Matter. The sentiment is there. But the fact that they're supporting this protest and not this protest should tell you something. And if it doesn't, you need to do some work on yourself. Because seriously, man, you are being controlled and you're being manipulated, regardless of how you feel. You know, I don't support any protest. I think it's all stupid. I think you're all being stupid. But the fact that the news, the media who's supposed to tell you truthful, unbiased information, they will claim to death, we are truthful, we are unbiased. The fact that they're saying this protest was okay and this one wasn't, should be the end of it. How is that legal? That is treason on the nation, man. They are fucking manipulating you people.
That is high. So how come, it's just every TV show, high treason is met with death, the death penalty.
They're giving you an agenda to believe, man.
Our government's doing high treason on our own country. But what do you think, Sally? Were you for it or against it? Because the person who asked me the question is, it's not even a question. It's just because this person obviously went to the protest. Like they're just saying, like, just let people know that it wasn't. We weren't there for violence. And there's always people that go to these things just to start shit.
Obviously,
we all
every
know that.
protest has bad apples.
But they weren't
there.
They're saying that there was old people, young people were holding hands, singing, and just there for a peaceful show of, we don't think that pushing a vaccine and keeping us indoors is right. I don't think it's fucking right.
It should be your choice. And the fact that the news is sharing this photo of the guy with the horse and then the cop covered in blood or whatever the fuck it is. And then I shared the video that all the protesters were shaking that cop's hand. Yeah. You could see the video of the guy not actually punching the horse. And I'm still seeing people sharing it. Even after watching the video I shared, where you can clearly see the manipulation, people still saying, like,
it's very scary.
The government's got you by the balls, man. Turn the media off. Turn it off. You don't need it, man. You really don't. And imagine the power they would have if they looked on their ratings and they saw, the Today Show, 9 News, 0 people watched it. 0 people watched it. What are they going to do then?
Exactly.
Stop watching that garbage. You're giving them power that, man, regardless of how you feel, you can obviously see the bias and agenda. Turn all the media off. You don't need that shit. Cavemen survived up until this point. They didn't have fucking TV and shit. You don't need that, man. Read a fucking book,
Sally?
dummy.
I'm not necessarily educated or informed enough to really have an opinion because I stay well clear of absolutely anything to do.
As you should. As you fucking should, man.
I still, do my best to abide. Like, I'm not against, I wear the mask where I need to wear it. And all
So do we.
Like, obviously, we've got a problem that the world has, and that's fine. But I think that the only thing that I can really say on it is that if you decide you have this strong opinion about who went to the protest, you do not know what these people and what their consciousness is experiencing. Like, as you said, there's homeless people, there are people that are struggling so hard with children and different things. I think that it's a privilege to be able to say that you're not struggling so hard financially or like have a threat to lose your house or have a threat on being home in a domestic violence thing. Like, there's support going around from the government. I understand that. But if you want to shun people for deciding, like shun thousands of people for deciding to do something that stands up for them.
Having a different opinion to you.
Yeah, having a different opinion to you. Like, it's just not. It's just not, it's you're just thinking that your opinion is better than others. But I understand that people are scared of COVID and that there's a lot, like the whole world is in this thing. And Australia has done really well, man. Like, if you look at other countries, we've been able to keep it down because we've had strong regulations on it. And I respect that. But in the same sense, I respect people having freedom within it as well, because we don't know, unless you're in the pinnacle of it, unless you're the fucking prime minister or fucking, I don't know, a part of the whole thing, you don't know anything. You don't know what anyone's experiencing. So if everyone will just like shut the fuck up and
you need to shut the fuck up
and, pipe down a little bit, then it'll be fine.
My thing is just the bias with the media, right? Because now, the government's giving people $50 to name people who went to that protest. Where was that with the Black Lives Matter protest? Where was that with the Black Lives Matter protest?
Yeah.
Why does it matter about the subject matter? It shouldn't matter.
The person who asked about the protesting, they brought up a good point to me, which is kind of cool and kind of humbling, that they said, man, like, I've been listening to your podcast, and especially like the latest one where it was just me and you, DZ. They said, man, like, your podcast could save someone's life. Like, if someone who's in a bad rut stumbles across it and listens, and something we're saying could help enlighten them just a little bit, could potentially help someone in like a dire situation. So I thought that was real cool. So that's why I really wanted to touch on their whole protest subject. You know what I mean?
I mean, whoever's meant to find it will find it too. So, it's just good to put yourself out there and to release art. If you got something to give, you should give it, man. Even if you think no one's listening, someone is. You never know who's watching your journey. So, just try to be right. And if you disagree with the protest, that's fine. But, you don't have to try convert other people to your opinion, because it's not going to work. It's not going to work, man.
It's like religion.
Do it out of love, show you, Sally was touching on this off camera, that, you have to have your opinion, but trying to force it onto other people, it's not the right thing to do. You know what I mean?
It's the same for people that went for the protest as well. If you went for your reasons, you went for love, you went for freedom, you went for all the right reasons. For the people that are against it, you've got your opinions, you've got them because you think they're right. Everyone is just doing what they think is best in a time of weirdness,
confusion
and chaos. So if you stand in the belief and in the thought that everyone is just doing their best, because that's what we're all doing. We're all just doing our best. And even people, like, to be honest, even people that are a bit lost in the world and may not come off as the best kind of people, they're just doing their best too to survive. Like, their version of survival may not be as privileged as us, you know what I mean? We get to make the privileged choices of having opinions, educated opinions, things like that. But we're all just doing our best. So if you went, if you didn't go, whatever, you're just doing what you think is right either way. So before you go and say that someone else isn't right, realize that they're just trying to do right as well. And just live with the beautiful fact that you're trying to do the best thing that you're doing, and shut up. Everyone just shut up.
And stop to smell the flowers once in a while, man. The world's beautiful, man. Look at the sky, look at the stars, and just live in love.
And it's noisy enough. Don't be a part of the noise.
Hell yeah, man.
Tune out that
be
shit.
a part of the noise if you're being positive. And if you're putting out art, if you're putting out a beautiful opinion, if you're putting out a perspective, but not a perspective that shuns anyone else's.
Share your opinions to teach, not to convert. You know, if someone wants to agree with you, if you present information in a respectful and kind way, someone reads it and they say, wow, this has really done something for me, then good. But if you're just saying, I'm right, you're wrong, you're an idiot, stay home, you're going to kill us all, or vice versa, if you're saying, these idiots staying inside, fucking, just cool it, man.
You know what? Something I recognised, and it's from Georgia, my friend Georgia Hare. She was saying, you know, I just want positivity. I want everyone to stop fighting each other, all this kind of stuff. And I've noticed there are posts of people that are doing like positive things, saying we're all one, we're all connected, like just, you know, everyone understand each other. But Georgia went that little bit of a deeper step, and instead of posting something that had anything to do with it, the next day posted, what are you grateful for, with a little poll. Mm-hmm. And people were replying on things they were grateful for, and it made me go, oh, I'm grateful for my dogs, and I'm grateful for my friends and whatever. Yeah. And it was something that wasn't even related, but it was fucking positive. You know what I mean? It's like, you don't have to necessarily even shed more information regarding the topic that's already saturated. Like, just if you have something to say, just make it positive and just shed a little bit of happiness.
Man, Malcolm X's been trying to do this for fucking years, bro.
A lot of people.
Unite the people. We're stronger as one. But a lot of people out there let us be divided, man. But another question was shout out Joey K, man. If you could know the absolute truth and total truth to one question, what would it be?
Jesus.
Man, mine, once again, everyone will probably know, will relate to music. Mine is about the music industry.
Who killed Tupac?
Is it really as sinister as the rumors and the conspiracy theories say? I got a feeling it could be.
I feel like less these days.
But is it really as wicked and evil? Or is it really just, you know, artists trying to just make a buck? Like, what's that would be my question anyway.
I don't even know. You got an answer? Because I got to fucking think.
Hold on. Can you read it out again?
So if you could know the absolute total truth to one question, what would that question be? So mine would be, is the music industry as wicked and evil as it's made out to be?
That's hard, Joey.
Yeah, that is a tough question.
Joey, why you got to be so deep? No, you know what, mine, I can't, I'm going to try and word it as I speak it out, all right? Because my ultimate question, and I rarely live on this reality, let's be honest. I always live in the afterlife for some reason. I live in death and what death brings and what it all means. Like, I can ask, what does life mean? But like, that's just such a...
That's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, it's such a broad question. But my question is there a level beyond reincarnation? I'm pretty a pretty big believer in reincarnation, but I'm also a believer in transcending reincarnation. It's a very Buddhist belief. If you were to, you know, understand Buddhism, and that's exactly what the premise is that we all reincarnate until we have created the enlightenment to go above.
That's what I believe. I think the Buddhists got it on the nose, man.
Yeah,
I fuck with Buddhism, bro.
And that's why they're so chill, you know. They're not doing nothing. They know. They're
so
cool, man.
My question to know the answer is there... What is the transcendent state of reincarnation? They say it's enlightenment, but what the fuck is enlightenment? What does that mean?
Yeah.
Buddha, tell me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what that means. But yeah, what's that next level? That's my question. It's very fluffy, but...
Man, I don't even know. I'd say like the same thing, like what is the meaning of life type shit, but it's like, would I even want to know the meaning of life? Because isn't that part of the journey? You know what I mean? So... fuck, I really don't know, man. Probably something simple. I like life as it is. I don't know if I want... What's like under the ocean or something? Are there extraterrestrials on other planets living like us? Trench? Some shit like that, man. Fuck something. Yeah. I don't want to get too deep, man.
Joey, man, you got these crazy questions, brother. He says, if you could teleport anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? Mine would be probably...
to work right after this.
Yeah. Mine would be somewhere like I'd get like a map and like a dart. I'd just throw it to like... Obviously, I only have nice places. I don't want to go to fucking like
Hell.
Afghanistan or something. Like, go to like a beach somewhere in Spain, drink a margarita, you know. I don't know the names, like just a random beach, I guess.
What, can we teleport once? Or
one time. Anywhere in the world.
Then how do you come back? What, you got a one-way ticket?
A one-way ticket.
Fuck, I don't know, man. The Amazon rainforest. Or to Sentinel Island, North Sentinel Island. You know them people that
you can't go there, bro. They fucking still killing people and shit there.
That's crazy, bro. Look up North Sentinel Island if you don't know what we're talking about.
That's a whole nother episode.
That is interesting, bro.
That is scary.
Crazy shit. That's cool.
Sally, where you going?
I'd go somewhere that is flourishing in the ocean. So like teleport me with the ability to breathe underwater to some place where like weird, cool shit's going on in the ocetion. Like I don't know. The Great Barrier Reef is fucking beautiful, man. And you can go. I've been there. I've snorkeled in the Great Barrier Reef.
We've been there too.
Yeah, we did that.
Yeah. But man, I was watching David Attenborough the other day, and there was a part on Antarctica, and obviously, like, I don't know if. Anyways, it was the polar bears, you know, and obviously everything's melting. But these polar bears have learnt how to now attack whales, beluga whales. So this polar bear, bro, it's crazy. Like, because they have no food to reach on the land because everything's melting, they've found this new way, and there's all these like beluga, like the white whales coming, and the polar bears just chill there, all quiet, just on a tiny little rock in the water, and just like dive and attack these whales. It's just crazy. I probably don't want to see that because I'll cry. But somewhere where there's like fucking
nature in action.
Yeah, nature in action, man, where there's heaps of flourishing shit going on in the ocean, because the ocean and the animals in it, like, blow my mind. It's just another world.
I love the ocean too, man. The polar bears are the biggest bear, and they can swim their ass off, man. They're fucking they're athletes, bro. Polar bears are wild.
They look cute until they got blood all over them.
Yeah,
like,
gruesome.
Maybe not.
So I got another interesting one. What about your Everest hike, Sally?
Oh wow, you do that?
How was that?
I did Everest base, yeah. Amazing, man. It was beyond.
So wait, is this like the top or
no, not the top, just Everest base.
Like the bottom of it?
Yeah, so there's 3 camps. There's Everest Base Camp, there's the middle camp, and then there's...
Holy fuck.
Like, I was watching this on Netflix, a Sherpa show.
Sherpa show?
Yeah.
So I went... The Sherpa show starts at Everest Base because that's where it gets really intense. So I didn't do any of the like crossing of the ice, you know, mountains and all that kind of stuff. It was really like a huge, long mountain hike. So it was 14 days. It took...
Shit.
It took...
2 weeks?
Yeah.
When did you do this? When was it?
It was May no, that was COVID. 2 years ago now.
Fuck, man, that is awesome.
It's gone so fast, but it's really eye-opening, man. It's that thing of just being on. Well, I wasn't really on my own. I had my guides and stuff like that, but that was a huge journey for me that I needed to kind of separate like a moment of my life into another moment, and that's where I was called to. But Nepal is another place because that's obviously where you start at Kathmandu, and you take a bus to the airport, and then you get this shabby little... Did you just watch my Everest video?
Yeah, I did.
The Everest base. Yep. I'll send it to you if anyone listening wants to
definitely
watch
interested.
the Everest base.
I'll put it in the link.
The description.
Yeah, the description.
Yeah, do that.
I did just an 11-minute video where I kind of like spoke about the trip as I did it and showed all the places. But it's just the way that the people live in the mountains where like, and as you would have seen on the Sherpa thing, like they've got to carry all the supplies on their back, and you just see these people walking for days and days. Like there were days where I walked like hiked up like vertical all day for 8 hours. And as you get up, you got to pay for showers, which most people just don't shower because it's pointless. It's cold and it just dribbles out nothing. Like there's not really any water or anything up there. So it's a huge taxing process on the body, but it's the views and the people. It's beyond explainable because it's just like you don't have all the things, but it's just being in the presence of those mountains is worth it. Like there's something so magical about them. So
that sounds unreal.
That's crazy, man. That is fucking crazy.
Must be so empowering too. Once you finish that and you're like wow, I really just did that.
Yeah, it was a cool feeling. I met a lot of cool people along the way as well. I think I love traveling alone so much for that.
Just to meet the people.
Yeah, and even though like, and now like I'm in a relationship and stuff like that, but James has said to me like if I need to travel alone at some point, at any point in my life, like just fucking go do it. Obviously, it's something that I get so much empowerment out of in a sense that when you're somewhere when no one knows you but yourself, and they don't know your past. Like, you've known me since 15. You know all my phases. You know me as a full lad. You know what I mean?
I know you on a deep layer, man, on a deep level, bro. Like since we were kids, man.
Literally, and that's so beautiful. And like the people around me, that's so beautiful. But there's something about being somewhere where you just are who you are now. Yeah. And with my guide and with my, with all that kind of stuff in the mountains, it's like you're just you, and you're not your past, and you're not anything that anyone knows you as. You're just you and a hike. Like,
yeah, exactly right.
That's crazy. That's fucking sick, that is so awesome, man.
I've got another thing we'll touch on.
Holy shit, you got a lot of questions.
I've got a lot, man. I've got a lot. I won't answer all of them, but we'll touch on one more topic before. Unfortunately, DZ's got work today. He's a normal human being like the rest of us.
Stream the music and we won't have to fucking work.
If you guys stream our music, we can do this shit for fucking 4 hours at a time.
No, but it is what it is. Works all right.
But this is something I wanted to ask too, so I'm glad someone asked this, Sally. Is at what point did you decide you wanted to be involved in nutrition? Because you've got Heal My Gut. Is that a blog? Is that a? Because you told me, didn't you do a fucking seminar where you were talking to people and?
Yeah, I did. So
what's the involvement with that? Because that's a complete different level on what we've been talking about.
We haven't even touched on that, but that's important. You should talk about it.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Just let the people know what's going on, where we can find you. What's your interest in that? Is that just another health thing, trying to help people? Because another thing, health, what you are what you eat.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? And being healthy can really add 5-10 years to your life. So where's your interest in that?
Yeah, I also think that there's an energy to food and how you take care of your body and how you take care of your mind. Like, and for me, okay, let me start. So my business that I'm starting is called Heal My Health, and it's going to be a kind of diverse complementary medicine business where I'll be based in nutrition, but I'll work with other people like naturopaths and things like that. And that's in its working stage. I'm still studying, so I'm just building that along the way. But the seminar that I did is based on the gut because I've had a lot of gut issues throughout my life, and so has my mum and all that kind of stuff. So it was something that I was really interested in, and now that I've got control of and learnt about, I made a seminar about it. So there'll be more like that. I'll do some online courses and stuff. But in terms of what brought me to nutrition, is the world that is nutrition is more than just like what healthy food you eat. Like, I was vegan for a while, and then I wasn't, and then I was, paleo, and then I did this, and it was all this moral thing. And then my mum got cancer, and she was going vegan, and she was trying to combat her disease with food, and I was going along with her. So it was these 5 to 6 years of just food-based development,
like limbo.
Yeah, it was like,
what's right for you?
What do I believe in? Do I want to eat animals? Do I not want to eat animals? Is it good for me? Do I believe it's good for me? Do my morals of like my worldly, animal, holistic, spiritual morals meet my idea of not wanting to get cancer or being healthy for my body? Like, so it was a real battle. So that's where all that came about. But I believe that Heal My Health will grow into a business that's more than just nutrition. I love nutrition. I love what it's taught me because, as you said, that drink that you've got, the lion's mane, like, it's not just about broccoli or all the things that we think. Like, there are foods that we don't know the names of that help us calm anxiety, that help, like, my main thing is when women are pregnant, like, what can you do to curb the possibility that your kid will have ADHD or will develop any, any sort of different, like, obesity or any disorders like that. Like, what can you do then, and what can you do for yourself, for your emotions, for the way that you interact with life? And I've met so many people in my life that just have either different traumas around food or different, like, constrictions or different beliefs. And it's just something that really interests me. So eventually, once I finish studying in a year, then Heal My Health will become its own thing. I have, like, got little things with it. I've got the website. I've got the Heal My Gut seminar, which I'll be doing another one shortly and stuff like that. So that'll grow in its space. But that's basically the story of that.
And same thing, I will have all these stuff, the links in the description of the YouTube video. So I guess watching on YouTube is your best bet because I post a lot of links and stuff like that.
I mean, if you're interested in anything we talk about, you can just jump on the YouTube, go to the description, and you'll find it.
Yeah. So health, do you think it's just trying to, because that's what you're studying, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Bachelor of Health Science.
Okay. So is it more of I want to show the people and teach the people what they can eat to sort of help them in their lives and in their future? Or because or are you more into PT? It's not really PTing and stuff, is it? It's more just about, because in my opinion, when people go to the gym and stuff, it's 80% what you eat and 20% how you train.
Yeah,
that's my opinion. Like
what I divide nutrition into and food into is two separate constructs. So you have food for weight management. You want to build muscle, you go to the gym, you want to lose weight, whatever. You have food for disorders. You have food for your gut, you have IBS or Crohn's disease, things like that. You have mental health issues, you get headaches, you get anxiety, depression. Like there's shit that food can do. You eat your omega-3s, start putting in some fatty fish, things like that will calm your nervous system. So it's about disorders of the body. Even if you have asthma or like hay fever, things like that, like there's foods that have histamine in them that aggravate stuff. Are you reacting to something? So it's, for me, I'm not about, and that's the thing about nutrition, is that people can do a 12-week course if they want to and get qualified as a Cert 3 nutritionist, right? I'm doing a 3-year degree in a Bachelor of Health Science. So you see someone that's doing a short course in nutrition, they'll tell you should eat, 1,800 calories a day if you want to maintain your weight, all that kind of shit. And they'll put healthy food in there because you need your micronutrients. But if you have disorders in your body, food is the number one thing that can help that. There's a woman that got diagnosed with, oh my God, why can't I think of the name now? It's like a chronic, like it's like Parkinson's or something like that.
Okay,
like it's like a hardcore disease, degenerative disease. I can't believe I can't think of the name of it, but got diagnosed with it, and what is considered kind of an untreatable disease completely changed her diet. It was really hardcore, but if you had the choice to eat like 5 bowls of like greens a day plus like elk meat and liver and all that kind of shit, or degenerate into nothing, like what would you do? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like you put in the work, but it's what food can do for your mind and for your body and for your soul and for your spirit. Like fasting is a spiritual process. So there's culture, there's spirit, there's more shit to food than just being skinny or being, not like, you know what I mean? There's more to food than what people think. So I would like to build on that. I was really restrictive. I looked at people eating a caramel koala and I was like, who the fuck are you? You know what I mean? But now I'm like, I eat chocolate. I like chocolate. I've found balance. To me, finding balance with food and having the tools in your belt, like your lion's mane, if you feel like you can't sleep, have some magnesium. If you feel like you're anxious, like eat some fish. If you, all those little tools where it's like whatever is falling one way in your body, you can do something. Thanks for kind of asking those questions. It's my field, so it's nice to talk about.
That's really interesting, because most people, when you think of nutrition and things like that, it is just about the weight loss. It is just about the maintenance of muscle. Yeah. So the fact that you're in it for like the actual health benefit, like actually helping anxiety and things like that, that's really interesting. I've never even heard of that.
That's really what I want to bring to the forefront, man, especially like I won't ever delve into it until one day I have fallen pregnant and gone through pregnancy myself, because you need to experience it. But developing a human, like you need 10 times the amount of like omega-3 fats to develop the brain and all this kind of stuff. We're seeing children with astronomical amounts of ADHD that were just not present before, and like different disorders. Autism is like on the rise beyond ever before, and it's like all these things are, I can't say that they're like just if you change your nutrition they're not going to happen, but a lot of it is the people that I listen to, the scientists, the data. It's like the food that is being consumed is not meeting the needs for the development of a human. You know what I mean? Right. So we're all going, oh my God, my kid's got ADHD, or my kid's got this, my kid's got that. But it's like, there are things that you can feed your child, because if you're feeding them high sugar, you're getting them fries for like little French fries or whatever, and white bread and all that kind of stuff, they're going to be like, it's like giving us cocaine. Like they're going to be on this sugar level that's like, and their blood sugar is going to be up the roof. So they're not going to be able to, you try and talk to someone while you're on, any sort of stimulant, you're gonna just not be. You're gonna be on.
Oh my god, I fucking love you, bro. You're the fucking best man. Fucking give me a kiss, give me a hug. Like,
you got ADHD. You know what I mean? That's what you got. But it's way beyond my knowledge. Like I can't even really comment on it because I've studied for 2 years. You know what I mean? But that's the level of nutrition that I want to bring to the world. And it sucks that the word nutritionist has now got because there's no regulations with the government. The government doesn't regulate being able to call yourself a nutritionist. So you can do a 2 to 12-week course online. Say you're a nutritionist,
wow,
and give food advice, but
wow,
there's
levels to it.
There's levels to it, yeah.
Just like everything, man, you gotta practice your craft, become a master. You gotta overtake the master, and then you learn things. It's things take years. You can't just do a 12-month or 12-week fucking course and start telling people what they can and can't eat. That's fucked up.
That's why I'm staying like a little bit on the down low at the moment. Like I don't want to, and you know, my Instagram's got like 5 posts for the Heal My Health. Like I opened the space and a website and stuff like that, but I haven't touched it yet because I don't feel
ready.
Well, I'm not qualified for one.
Yeah.
But I want to be educated on my opinion, you know, in my craft, in what I do. So so eventually that will grow as I grow.
Yeah. That's
Thanks
crazy,
for asking.
Man. No,
that's great. That's important too, man.
I'm not going to lie. I wanted to start the podcast with this, but we just fucking dove in a crazy direction.
I don't even remember how we started the fucking...
Fuck yeah, man. So is there any other points you want to bring up? I've got no, I'll leave the questions at that for now. Only because once again, because DZ, the poor bastard, has work soon.
I'm good,
Nothing
man.
else to touch on, Sally?
No, this has been really, really fun.
Once again, this is obviously that we couldn't.
Shout out by Steven, by the
Oh
before we
yeah,
forget.
new song, man. By Steven, don't go. That shit is fire.
Trip Jacket Mafia, bitch.
TJM Records release, bro.
Let's go.
He works with us. He's with the label. Beautiful fucking track, man.
Yeah, it's a great song.
Very well done, man. The
Came
vibe.
out today when we're filming this.
Yeah.
This will probably be out in a couple of days.
I'll also have that in the... No, I could fucking edit this now and release it this Arvo, really.
Well, that'd be good. So if it's up today, go check out the song.
Yeah, I'll leave links and stuff. Yeah, look, Sally, there's going to be a lot of episodes to sit down to talk about everything we want to talk about.
Yeah, we'll have you back whenever you want.
You can't cover this shit in an hour and a half session.
We've gone through a lot of topics.
Yeah, we did pretty well.
You know what I mean? So like we said in the past, people will come back on. People will be recycled on, and we can just keep talking. Things change in the world as these podcasts get released. I think what would be kind of cool too, because I wanted to touch on something else today, but we kind of run out of time because we've been to Mexico together.
Yeah.
If people don't know, me and Sally have been fucking cross country. We've been to America. We went to Mexico, and I've been watching a lot of documentaries on narcos and shit like that. So I thought it'd be cool if we would dress up as Mexicans, little hats, and talk about our time there and the crazy shit.
You know what'd be
doing.
good about about your overseas trip would be to have two guests, because you went in the group, right? There was a few of you, so we'll have...
Yeah, well, the first time there was 5 of us, I think, and then the second time I went, there was like fucking 10 of us. So
yeah, that'd be fun. We'll bring you and someone else who went on, and
So that'd be cool. We could dress up as Mexicans, hats, ponchos, and shit.
Mexico is a crazy.
Yeah, that shit was fucking scary. But yeah, I guess we'll call it there because, like I said, Dylan's got work and stuff, which is a shame. But so yeah, thanks for listening. Hey, this is episode what?
15, man.
15 with Sally Whyte, man. Thank you for coming on, Sal. Our first female guest, man. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. That was awesome. Covered a lot.
I feel privileged, and thank you for anyone that's listened.
Yes, peace out, baby.
We'll be on again.
Shoo!